I'm going to say to start off with that I never thought I'd see the day that I'd be sitting here with Ace Kefford. It's Ace Kefford from the Move.
Go on then.
In his flat, having a beer.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you, Ace.
It's nice to meet you, Marty.
After all this time.
After all this time,
I've been lucky enough over the years to meet all the members of the Move.
Yeah.
And interviewed them all as well. I have met you before, very briefly, and that was at the Locarno in 1982.
I remember that, just about, yeah.
Yeah, and you came off stage. I did manage to have a quick hello, but you were. It was all a bit hectic there.
You've got to watch what you're saying, don't you?
Yeah.
I was out of my head, let's say that.
Well, I was going to say that, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah. Well, you can tell if you see that video, and you see any Move videos, other ones, I'm pretty much standing in one spot or just moving a bit. And in that video at the Locarno, I'm jumping all over the place like a maniac.
Yeah.
Well, that's why now, you know. Ain't it true?
All right, let's go back to the beginning. I'm assuming you were born and bred in Birmingham, were you?
Yeah. I was born in. That photograph I just showed you of Milk Street in Birmingham. I moved there as a baby, and we lived there with Mum and Dad for about 4 years and then moved somewhere else. So I was actually in the sound of the bells of Birmingham, if you like, Digbeth. So that's where I was born and bred. So yeah, in the old houses, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got one brother, 3 sisters. My 2 sisters are born on October the 4th. Different ages, like. And me and my brother are both born on December the 10th.
All right.
It's good.
Well, happy birthday for yesterday.
Yeah.
Birthday? Did you do anything special?
Not really. No, I going over to Birmingham for the weekend because they all work, don't they? It's not through the week. So I said keep me cards and keep me presents, and I'll go over to be with the family for my birthday on Saturday. Because like I told you earlier, like my dad died 2 years ago, and like we've been on about, I do realise the importance of my family now. So I'm backwards and forwards to see my sisters and all that. Yeah. And my one sister's got it rough at the moment, so I've never heard of this before, I don't know if you have. But she's had rheumatism in her fingers and they're twisting. And the night before my birthday, she'd gone into hospital in Birmingham, and what they're doing is they're taking all the bones out of her fingers and replacing them with metal rods. Hey? So I'm definitely going to go and see her Jan this Saturday, man. She's just come out, so yeah, your family's important, man. Yeah.
What did Mum and Dad do for a living?
Dad was a plasterer, and Mum was a pub cleaner.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's why when I was in the rehab, I didn't mind cleaning the toilets.
No, we'll go into that in a bit then.
Yeah.
So what have you got yourself? You've got 2 daughters, is it?
No, I've got 2 sons.
2 sons.
Daryl and Gary.
Yeah.
And you know Daryl.
Daryl's in Australia.
Australia, yeah. And 3 granddaughters.
Right.
All of them I'd seen for the first time last year in 25 years.
Right. That was quite an event then.
Yeah, but that's another thing. What goes around comes around. And after Dad died, Gary come to my dad's funeral, and things just go on from one thing to the other. And Dad will come over from Australia last Christmas, and it was brilliant, man.
Was there music in the house where you were growing up?
Yeah, our mum especially.
Yeah.
She used to sing actually in a dance band at the Yardley Social Club. They had their own little trio or something, and she got the job as the singer. So she used to sing there, man.
So
I don't remember much about it, but
no, you don't.
You know.
What school did you go to?
Yardley Wood.
Yardley Wood.
Yeah, right dump.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah. Well, it was approved. Let's put it that way. No, it was crap. We never learned nothing, man. And they didn't bother. If you didn't learn nothing, they didn't bother. You didn't learn nothing. They just wanted to kick it out. It was a rough school, man.
Any other famous musicians go to that school at all?
No, not as far as I know. No. But it was good. In some, you had to learn how to look after yourself, you know what I mean? Because if you don't, well, they just kick the shit out of you, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? So you had to learn to be a bit tougher.
What sort of age were you when you started becoming interested in playing guitar?
when we saw me and what happened, it was me and my Uncle Chris, who was my mum's brother, but he was only 9 months older than me, so we were like brothers, me and him, you know. So we started off like everybody else. I got a tea chest with a what they call a broomstick and a piece of string on it. I was playing the bass, and he got an acoustic guitar, and we had a guy on a washboard.
Right.
So we must have been about 13 or 14, something like that.
What, doing the clubs and things? Or
No,
just for fun?
we played down a few, like my granddad's social club, but they had us down there just to give us a gig, you know what I mean? And it's just everybody did. Just the Beatles did it, didn't they? John Lennon had that skiffle group. Yeah. So it's all the same story, really, for all the groups, I think. It's about our age, anyway. So
were there any like musical artists around that you heard on the radio and you thought, oh, I fancy doing a bit of that?
Well, when we switched from, we started getting electric guitars, and my granddad bought me my first bass, and obviously it was the Shadows, and all the groups were playing, and we formed a group called Chris in the Shades, which wasn't me, it was my Uncle Chris, who was the Chris in the Shades lot. And then my Uncle Reg wanted to join, and we called ourselves the Chantels, and we did all Cliff and the Shadows and all that sort of stuff. Right. Pink Fender bass, Jet Alice.
So you were out doing the pubs and the clubs then?
Yeah, I was out gigging then. What? I was only about 15, 16, something like that. But then we never get the pubs. They never get query about how old you was or anything. No. In them days, they just got enough to have bands on, weren't they?
Was that enough to make a living on, or did you have to have a day job as well?
No, I worked in the markets in Birmingham.
Did you?
Yeah.
What were you selling then?
No, it wasn't selling so much. I used to load up the barrow, because you say that the wholesale, the shops will come in, and you're in the wholesale mode, you're laughing at, and you put all the potatoes or whatever on the barrow, and you pull it out and load it up onto their wagon, and that's what I did. Yeah. You needed a lot of brains. No, it was all right, man. The only trouble was I had to be there at 4:30 in the morning, right. And I'd be playing with the Chantels, and I'd come home, and my dad would be banging the door saying, "Come on, you got to get up to go to work, or you just got to bed." But you do it because you love it, don't you? That's the thing. Our Daryl there has got a band. Has he told you?
Yeah, I've seen.
Have you seen some of it?
Yeah.
Well, have you seen any of the live stuff he's done?
No, I haven't, not yet. No.
You never guess what he's done? Over the hill.
Oh, right.
Gary played it to me, and I said, "I've heard that song before."
Yeah.
Joking, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's done that. The Grid Monkeys, they're called.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
They're all about in the 40s and all that, so they're only like a covers band and stuff like that. But it's, if you're enjoying it, do it. When it ain't fun anymore, pack it in.
Yeah.
That's about it, isn't it?
And this is out in Australia?
Out in Australia,
yeah. So if anybody from Australia watching this needs to look out for that.
Yeah. He's put it on the... Well, you've seen a lot of stuff he's put on there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I'll have to get... When I get over to my brother-in-law's the weekend, I'll get that site up. Was his Facebook? Put Happy Birthday, Dad?
Yeah.
Oh, nice one. Yeah. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, there's some nice pictures on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... Was it Danny King that came on the scene soon after? Yeah,
after the Chantels broke up. Me and my Uncle Chris, one had a Chris in the Shades.
Was it the Jesters?
It was the Jesters, yeah. Because he'd had a few groups, the Royals and something else. I remember the Royals was the main one, Danny King and the Royals. And we just wanted another name, so we used the Jesters. And we did quite a few gigs with Dano.
Yeah.
The 3-piece, the drummer, me and Chris and Dano. And he used to play guitar as well sometimes, but he got such a fantastic voice, man. We couldn't say no, you know what I mean?
Danny King?
Yeah. Have you heard him?
Yeah, and I remember
bloody hell.
Carl Wayne once told me that he thought he was like the best vocalist to come from Birmingham. Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said that myself in interviews and stuff. That he just got such an unusual voice. I seen him not so long ago when it was at that do for Terry Wallace. And I got up on the bass and I couldn't play. I ain't played for 25 years. It ain't like riding a bike, like people tell you. And I just couldn't move my fingers properly. But anyway, I got up and did it. And Danny was singing, and he's still great. Absolutely great, man. And such a lovely bloke as well.
So what came next? Was it, well, you knew Carl Wayne? Did he ask you to join his band, or?
No, I think I might have still been with Danny then. I don't know, but I went up to Gloucester Green to see a band. I didn't go to see the Vikings. I can't remember who I went to see. I went to see somebody else. And who come up to me now? Terry Wallace, the one that died, Terry Wallace. He come up to me and said, hang on, I might be getting mixed up here. It's a long time ago, you know. Hang on.
Yeah, because we're going back to the early 60s now.
Yeah, well, before that, I'd done a gig with Keith Powell and Valleys.
Oh, right.
Just a jam.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't got a bass player, so I just went on the gig to the Old Hill Plaza, that was it. And I was playing bass with them. And Wally spotted me with them. So when I went up to Gloucester Green, he recognised me and he come over and he says, "How do you fancy a job?" I said, "What, with the Vikings?" Because they were the top band in Birmingham.
Oh, well, they had a
lot of money, man. My first week's wage was about 3 times more than our old man worked as a plasterer on the buildings. So they was earning good money in them. They was the top paid band in Birmingham. I wasn't too happy about the image and all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Because it was like, I'd been into the Rolling Stones and all that sort of stuff before that,
right.
Jeans and long hair and all that, but their image was shorter hair and suits and all that stuff. But I thought, well, I'm a mug if I just let that stop me, you know what I mean? And the music was all more or less the same as everybody else, Clifford's in the Shadows and all that sort of stuff. And technically, they were a really good band, you know what I mean? So, I can't remember what happened after that.
So they were an established band, were they?
They were established as the Vikings, but the bass player had left and they got a standing bass player. So that's why Terry says, "Do you fancy a job?" Well, I've seen you with the Powell and the Valets, like. "Do you fancy a job with the Vikings?" And I obviously said yes, but I joined and rehearsed and I can't remember, but yeah, and that was it.
Had they already got a recording deal?
No.
No, they hadn't?
No. I thought, oh, hang on. No. I'll get this mixed up actually, because Wally reckons I wasn't on What's the Matter Baby?
Right.
And I thought I was, because we were recorded down at Tulloch and Taylor's, and which was a little studio in Birmingham. But perhaps I wasn't, I don't know. And perhaps they did have a contract.
Yeah, but they recorded some more songs as well, didn't they?
Yeah, we did This Is Love, which was written by Danny King.
Yeah. Were you on that?
Yeah, I'm on that, yeah.
A good version of My Girl as well, did they?
Yeah. I can't ever remember hearing that, but apparently it was released in America, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got the single.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll show it you. I've got it in my bag over there.
Who's singing on it?
Well, that'd be Carl.
Carl's singing on it, is it?
Yeah.
Because I'd started singing a few numbers with the Vikings when I first joined, you know what I mean? That would have been typical of the sort of thing I'd have sung, really.
Yeah.
Oh, God, but it's Charlie singing on it, yeah?
Yeah. And it, as you say, it came out in America.
Yeah. I don't know, it's all this stuff you get on the internet, so I never knew anything about it until when I see it a few years ago or something. Yeah. But, yeah. And I think that was about it. I don't think we didn't record no more. We recorded the B-side, Shimmy Jammy Jingle. I'll tell you who that was.
Right.
Carl Wayne's buddy Lawyer.
Oh, was it?
His solicitor, yeah. And Charlie, being Charlie, you know, got him to... He thought he was a songwriter. And he was an old man. What's his name? Mr. Shinglin or something like that. And we didn't know. We just did it, you know. Charlie says, "We're doing this, he's written it, and we're going to put it on the B-side." And he did another one as well. You Could Be Fun at the end of a party.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, they're all fucking old-fashioned crap, really. You Could Be Fun at this. You can't record that. Anyway, we did. So, you know. But it's mainly because it was his solicitor, for whatever reason. No, I don't know.
But good times with touring in Germany.
Yeah, we went to Germany. Yeah, we were starving, man.
Were you?
Yeah, because they don't fucking pay you, do they?
No.
That's the problem we had. And then when we actually left Cologne, the last club we did was in Cologne. they instead of paying you in English money, or they transferred it to Deutschmarks or whatever, and you pounds and pounds out to what you thought you was going to get home, even for petrol. And anyway, we got back outside, and Carl and the roadie, I'm trying to think, Alan Harris, that's it, Alan Harris, went back in and took all the speakers out the club's speaker system, chucked them in the back of the van, and we buzzed off. When we got back, we had new speakers built for, because they never paid us, man, you know what I mean? But they did that a lot with a lot of the bands, man. The Beatles, everybody must have had it done on them, you know what I mean?
And yeah, you must have been working hard, it must have been like 2 shows a day or
something.
No,
it was 3/4 of an hour on, 3/4 of an hour off. Oh no, 1/4 of an hour off. Then 3/4 of an hour on, another 1/4 of an hour, and I think that went on for about 5 hours.
Really?
And then on a Saturday, you did 3 hours on the afternoon, so you did 8 hours, well, 8 3/4 hours. But that's where, when we come back from Germany, we were as tight as arseholes, man. More of a good rock band than, you know, a covers band, like the Vikings. You know, doing that, all it tightens the band up, you know what I mean?
Same set every time, is it?
Well, we just do anything, don't you?
Yeah.
We've got in this molly, and then start repeating stuff, because the drunken sailors have come in and pissed off our back out, so you can repeat it all over again.
So a lot of cover versions as well?
Yeah, all cover versions, yeah. There's no original stuff in them days.
What, Little Richard?
Little Richard, yeah. I used to do a few of them rockers like that.
Yeah.
And there's a photograph of me and Carl leaning against a bar. I don't know if you've seen that one. And I put on that thing, you know, we look like Balson with that fucking starved, man. Oh, I'm thinner than what I am in them photographs there, man. That must have been the thinnest I've been. And it was printed on the internet somewhere, and our dad had commented, this couldn't be my dad. No, he says, I didn't think my dad looks old enough there to drink.
You did have a young face, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. It's my mum, that was really.
Yeah. What, you got that from the...
From my mum, yeah.
And were you known as Ace the Face then, or was that like a movie?
No, I was Ace the Face with Dano.
Oh, back with Danny King?
Yeah, well, it was Ace the Bass, really. It was on the Tony pushed it with the girl magazines, it became Ace the Face. Ace the Bass, when there was me and Chris with the Jesters with Dano, and we'd be packing the gear up and all that, and Danny would shout, Chris, and I'd go, yeah. And Chris Jones, my uncle, would go, yeah. And he said, Danny said, this is driving me mad, man. He said, we've got to have a nickname for one here. And by coincidence, when I was at school, I had a leather jacket with Ace on the back. Don't know where I got it from. But it wasn't that so much. There was a guy that used to come around with us, and he used to, instead of calling you bud or mate or something, he used to call everybody Ace. And we says, that'd be a good name. Tossed a coin. And I lost. Or I won.
Is that where the name came from?
Yeah. Simple as that.
Some bloke used to call you Ace?
Yeah. We'll call everybody Ace, but Daddy wanted us to have a nickname because of the 2 Chrissies. So it finished up that I got stuck with the Ace. And then when I joined the Vikings, as soon as I met them, like I said, my name was Ace, and then it just carried on. Top of the pack, isn't it?
Well, there must have been loads of groups going around Birmingham area, like Carl Wayne, Danny King, I suppose, was still...
Hundreds.
Yeah.
The main ones, really, were the Vikings, Mark Sheridan and the Night Riders, Jerry Levine and the Avengers, the ones I can remember, Keith Powell and the Valets, and now we're like in a different league to lots of the other bands that were just doing the pubs and all that. You know, to sort of get good money and all that, you've got to be one of them bands.
And was the Cedar Club, was that the main club? Was that the main
yeah. It was up. I mean, we used to be able to do a gig with the Vikings, and we'd go down to Cedar Club. No, we'd do a gig with the Vikings somewhere, then we'd rush off to somewhere like King's Heath, what was it called? The Ritz in King's Heath. And we'd do a gig there, and then we'd rush down to the Cedar, so we'd do 3 gigs in one night. See anybody do that nowadays, man? They ain't got the gigs for a start, have they? It's a shame for bands nowadays, man. You know, you can't learn your trade, can you? And you ain't going to learn it by being on X Factor, right? You know what I mean? It's good. It was a good apprenticeship, man.
Yeah, it must have been.
You know, we were dashing about all over the place, but when you got your wage package at the end of the week, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want some decent money then?
Decent money with the Vikings, yeah.
Had you packed up your job on the market by then?
Yeah. Well, I didn't turn professional until I joined the Vikings. I mean, my gig Carly's Jew, he was on the ball, man. I mean, we all had a wage package with expenses and everything on the package every week. Like getting proper wages. No, you hadn't seen that with other groups, man. You're lucky if you got a penny out of it, you know.
Now, is it true that Davy Jones, who was David Bowie, he used to go to the Cedar Club?
No, he was on one night, and me and Trevor had been getting together, changing our clothes style into block mods and stuff, and me and Trevor was always on about wanting to do, not Town Motown, but you know, some of the stuff I got in my record collection, you know, soul music and stuff, and blues and all that stuff, and he was on that night. Just because we hadn't approached Roy or anybody by then, just me and Trev, and we knew what we wanted to do, but how do we go about it, man? You know, form the move. How are we going to do it? How are we going to get the gigs and whatever, you know? So he was having a meal at the Cedar afterwards, and me and Trev sat down opposite him, and he was David Jones then, but he was dressed great in all the London mod gear and all that, and he looked a bit like me as well. He got the blonde buffed up hair like, and you know, the mod clothes and all that stuff. And he was talking to us saying we you know, we're thinking of forming a new band, and we know a couple of the guys we think might come with us if we approach him and all that. And so we were telling him what we were intending to do, really. And straight away he just says, "You two guys are so enthusiastic, man." He said, "Why don't you just do it? Form your band."
And was that a kick you needed to...
Yeah, of course it was, yeah. Because he was doing everything that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Heatwave and all them sort of songs, you know. Leaving Here was one that I always loved, which was, I forget who did it. But all them type of numbers, you know, not so much Tamla, but like that style of black music, you know. And of course I had this fantastic record collection. So then we, I mean, Roy was fantastic. I mean, there's no doubt he was brilliant, man. Because he didn't play like Eric Clapton or any of that stuff, even though he probably can nowadays, obviously, you know what I mean. But he used to be a wizard on the guitars. He used to get all these, he got echo unit, you get all these different sounds, and it was fantastic, you know what I mean. And so that's the man.
So would you say you were friends with Roy before that?
Yeah. We used to get on with Roy.
Yeah.
Because he was with Mark Sheridan.
He was with Mark Sheridan.
But we hadn't said anything to him by then. But when we did, from what I can remember, I'm pretty sure he just more or less straight away says, "Yeah, I'll do it." Because I think he must have been fed up of doing the pub circuits and all that, same as we was with the Vikings and Danny. And we wanted to try and, you know, Barry'd been telling us about, you want to get yourself down to the Marquee in London and all, you know, playing the proper gigs to get your band on and all this stuff. And that's what transpired actually in the end, wasn't it? Because we went down the residency at the Marquee. But that was it, and we approached Roy. Then after that, there's a group called the Shakedown Sounds. Have you ever heard of a singer called Jez Roden?
No.
Well, Jez was a singer in the Shakedown Sounds, and they were a pure mod band, and they're doing all the same stuff that David Bowie was doing, you know. And we approached him, but he was happy with his band, and he didn't want to do it. And then John Bonham was my best mate anyway. We'd known each other for years. He played with my two uncles in a group called Wildlife. So I went up and I says, "John," I says, "we're doing this thing. We've got me, Trevor and Roy Wood. Do you want to come with us, like, on the drums?" And he turned us down. He said, "I don't." He didn't want to do it anyway. He wanted to carry on with. He's with Robert Plant now. So he wanted to carry on with Robert. But before, sorry, I jumped ahead there. Before that, we'd approach Carl. It says to me, "Something's going on, isn't it?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Something's going on." He says, "I've got the vibe, mate." He said, "I know. What are you up to, you and Trevor?" And he said, "And Roy." He said, "Something's happening, isn't it?" So I said, "Yeah, we're forming a new band." So I've got to tell you sometime or other, I mean, it's his band, isn't it, the Vikings. And he said, I'll come with you, man. He said, I'll sing with you. I said, well, he's in it, you know, got the dinner suits on and all that stuff, you know. I said, you ain't going to want to come with us, like, dressing modern, doing all this sort of, you know, soul songs and all that stuff, like. And he says, yeah, I'll do. Yeah, he wanted to do it. He wanted to get out of it himself, I think, basically, and get down to London and see if we can break through, which we'd have never done. We played in London, the Night Riders, all these different bands from them, they all played in London and that in the time. But you're singing you're like a human jukebox, really. You're just singing whatever's popular has just got into the Beatles number this week, and you're singing it, you know what I mean? So you're going to get no deals or anything, you know? So that was it, and then the next thing we knew, we're playing all the similar type of gigs, but having universities doing it with the new move, like, and ballrooms and things like that. So it was and we still do some of the pubs and all that, but it picked up a bit. And then we used to play a gig called the Whiskey A Go Go. It was over the top of I don't know if it was Burton's or Epworth, the Taylors, and you used to go up some high stairs, and there was a big ballroom thing at the top. Well, not big, it was just like an ordinary room, you know what I mean? And one night, the guys from Mother's Club, you heard of Mother's Club, Phil Myers and all that, they brought this guy called Tony Seconda there night, because he'd had the Moody Blues, Tony, and had a success with them. And he watched us, like, and the next thing we knew, we was gigging in London at the Marquee and all that, you know what I mean? Because he'd got all the contacts, hadn't he, Tony? And that was it, really.
Who came up with the name of the move, do you remember?
No, I ain't too sure about this. Because I know Roy's registered it or something, hasn't he? Well, he probably did. I mean, you know, he wrote all the songs in and all that stuff. But I don't really know. All as I know, the movement was the first suggestion. And with the Who and all bands like that, it was a great idea just to cut it in half and just use the move. Now, I ain't going to say I thought of that, because I couldn't remember anyway. But I ain't bothered. It didn't bother me. I just thought it was a great name.
Yeah. And wasn't Keith Smart down as a drummer for one stage as well?
I think Keith, because of Trevor's connection, I think he was, until we decided to have Bev. Stick with what we'd already got, because we'd got Carla, John, me and Trevor and Roy, and Bev was in the Vikings with us, and he wasn't a bad drummer, you know what I mean? There's no John Bonham, but we wouldn't have wanted John Bonham now it works out in the end, you know, because he'd have destroyed the band. It was too loud. So we'd already got Bev by then, I think. So it was, you know, Keith mentioned that to me the other night. I'm not sure I remember the idea of him approaching him, because his connections with Trev. They played in the Everglades, I think, together when they was kids. Yeah.
So was it almost straight down to London with Secunda then, or? More
or less, yeah. But the thing is, we went down to London, and what we give up was all the gigs we was doing in Birmingham and all the money we was earning to play at the Marquee for a few quid for the status and all that stuff. And Tony didn't want us to do any more gigs apart from the ones he got us around London or whatever. So a lot of nights, a lot of weeks, we was only playing 2 or 3 gigs a week. But he was building it up in the press about the group, you know what I mean? So he didn't want him playing in the local pub in Birmingham, did he? He was trying to build that up. And then he put us in the gangster suits and all that stuff. He was a bloody incredible bloke, but he's a crook. He bent his 9-bob nose, realised, you know, keeping it all for himself.
That was the first image you went through with the gangster.
With the gangster things, yeah.
And how long was it before you got a record deal? Do you remember?
I don't think it was. It couldn't have been long, because I mean, within a year of forming the move, it was in the charts, so it couldn't have been, you know. Around about that time, within about 3 or 4 months after doing the gangster suits and all that stuff, we must have had a deal by then, if not a record.
I remember asking Carl Wayne once when he thought the move were at their best, and he said that they were at their best before they even got record deals.
Oh, definitely.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I've heard Trevor say that as well. Yeah. Definitely. Well, we were all mates, weren't we then? Before all the jealousies and all the other crap that comes into bands, which is, I've mentioned before, you know, is one of the main reasons I wasn't with the band, because of the jealousies. So What did you ask me then before there? My fucking brain, man. I've told him here, I've got short-term memory loss, they call it.
So you would go down into London and play in what, the Marquee?
Yeah.
And things like that. And were you...
I'm 68, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know, it's a long time ago. the smashing up of TVs and the bombs and that, did that come very early on, or was that something that was sort of...
I think that was earlier on, just after we first had Night of Fear out and all that. Yeah, it was pretty earlier on, and then we dropped it off later on that year, because it served the purpose, didn't it, which was publicity, really. I mean, that thing about Tony, and you see a photograph of the Marquee where all the firemen are picking up bits of this stuff. They've got the firemen's helmets on, and all the catastrophe the movers caused at the Marquee. They blew the stage up and all this stuff. It was Tony who'd found Fire Brigade.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean.
To get the publicity.
To get the publicity.
And it worked, though, really, didn't it?
God, man.
Whatever you thought of the bloke.
Yeah, it worked. He was a wizard as regards all that stuff's concerned. I think the ideas. But, you know, and I still love, he's dead now, you know. I didn't know that until Carl told me, I think. But I still love Tony. I mean, Trevor adored Tony, man. He was like his brother, you know what I mean? And we all loved him in a way. And even when we knew what he'd done and all that, I'd have still sat down and had a meal with him. Had a good old chat. Because he's got a fantastic brain. He come unstuck with the Wilson thing, right? And I was the first one to say that out of the rest of the band, because nobody ever mentioned that. But that he'd come unstuck.
Yeah.
He bit off more than he could chew.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk about that again in a minute.
Yeah.
Roy started writing the song, but you were doing lots of cover versions as well, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Eddie Cochran again.
Yeah. We still did some of the we mainly, even when Roy did the records, the first few records, we were still doing a lot of material that we were doing in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Which was, like I said, which was my old record collection, really, more or less.
Yeah.
Stop and Get a Hold of Yourself, which Trevor used to sing, was Gladys Knight and the Pips song. Yeah. Things like that, you know. Watch Your Step, which was...
You sang that, didn't you?
I sang that, yeah. I never knew the words, you know. I just used to take it up.
Right.
Just so we could do the song and Charlie could get his chopper out.
It's a great song, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a proper version of it now,
right.
On a John Lennon jukebox album, and it's the original version, and I was miles away from it with what I was singing. Like.
You were having quite a lot of, I suppose, mental issue problems, is that the right way to put it?
Yeah.
And some...
I think I did really from when I was a kid, and from where I grew up, working in the market.
So that wasn't a thing that started with the mood then?
No, I've found out recently with this being manic depressive, which according to the doctors and the psychiatrists that I've known over the last 15 years, when they finally diagnosed me as manic depressive. I never knew before, but they reckon that I was possibly manic depressive from when I was a kid. So for all these things, when I did crazy things with the mood and stuff, that was the manic side of me. But then when the depression side come in, that's when he must have got the rest of the lads down, you know what I mean? But it was an illness. So
it can't have helped, or did it, the fact that Roy was sort of writing songs like The Disturbance, Night of Fear, The Cherry Blossom Clinic.
Yeah. And I'm singing, Will They Carry Me Away?
Yeah, but for you, that was a real life.
Well, not really, not until after I left the Nerve. When they started going inside, because I knew something was wrong with me then, because of all the LSD. I mean, it was the LSD that knackered me up, to be honest. And taking all that, with the jealousies within the band and all that. I spoke to Trevor recently, and he said, I've got to tell you the truth, Ace. He says, it's been bugging me for years. He said, when you've been saying that you used to travel to the gigs and we used to ignore you and not speak to you and all that, he said it was a plan. We all discussed it and we all said, well, if we don't talk to him, and I was ill, don't forget, you know what I mean, send him to Coventry, eventually he'll leave. Without them being able to chuck me out, I'll leave. So that's exactly what happened. Man.
That's quite sad, really, isn't it?
It's sad. And it's sad that in them days, nobody used to understand. Nobody used to know anything about, you know, people who were a bit moody or you know, anything like that, mental illness especially, you know what I mean? But what finally did me is me and Trevor went out one night. He don't mind me mentioning Trevor because he's sad as a pound. But his constitution for drugs was like amazing, whereas mine, I was probably more sensitive to anything like that because I had this something wrong with me anyway, you know. And we went out, me and him, and we bought this empty bottle of LSD, which means in them days you get this bottle, you dip you know, like you put eyedroppers, right? Yeah, and you usually put that on blotting paper or sugar or whatever, and then take it. That's your trip. Well, we bought this empty bottle, and the guy that got it for us had bought it off some students, and he come back to the car, and I remember him to this day chucking the bottle into us, and I said, "There's nothing in it. It's an empty bottle." He said, "It's all inside." Because you've only got to touch it a little bit like that and you got it. So it's all inside the bottle. So I think he must have said, you know, wash it out and do it. But I think he must have said, wash it out and drink it every so often. We drank the lot. And I finished up that night after I went down to the Cedar Club. And there was a fancy dress party on. I couldn't work out. Somebody's a pilot, and I started getting real fucking horrors, man. I've got to get out of there. I was petrified, you know. Anyway, the ups got me back home, and I sat. My missus was away, so I sat in the flat on my own. And there was all these little men sitting round me on the arms of the chair and all like that. And they got big pointed heads, big long fingers, and big long toes down to the ground. And I sat there all night long.
What, talking to them?
I was talking to them, yeah, but they were actually there. Well, that's the thing with acid, you swear blind, it's real. And there's all these little... I wrote a song after that called The Spiegelmen Will Get You If You Don't Watch Out. The Spiegelmen, I called them. But that did me. I was never right after that. Started getting paranoid and anxious and you got to go pick you up and you got to go to the top of the pops, man, and you don't want to even go out of the house because you're that depressed or panicky or whatever. So it was destined that it wasn't going to last much longer after that. Just to get out of it, you know.
Being in the pop group, you must have been surrounded by other people, well, not necessarily in the band, but by other people in the business. Yeah.
Sid Barrett was on the Hendrix tour. And apparently, from what I was told, I mean, I took a battleship full of bloody acid, you know what I mean? Enough to sink a battleship, but apparently he hadn't took that much, but he'd gone. And on the tour, like, he never used to come out of the dressing room, or if he did, and was all in one big room together, he'd sat in the very far corner playing with, you know, them steam machines, you lighted the plug. And I went up and tried to talk to him, but he's got people around him and all that. But he was gone. So it was a sad road. And like a lot of the nights, they had to get the guitarist out of the night to stand in for him because he just couldn't go on. But his head had gone. But mine was fucking going there. And old Jimmy used to come up to me and say, rub my hair up, scuff my hair up and say, Ace, what's happening, man? I said, I fucking don't know, Jim.
Well, what's happening in your
no, what's happening with the I don't know, he just used to say, what's happening? Whether he didn't know.
In real life or
I don't know whether he was, I just say, I don't know, Jim, I'm happening fucking head, mate. And I think he was as well, like, you know. Yeah. But he's a nice bloke, he's a great bloke, no doubt about it.
Did it affect your playing and singing?
No, I never did any of that. I could always do that. There was a time before that when I was leaving the move before, probably 2 or 3 times actually. Right. There was a time before when I was leaving, and Tony wouldn't let me leave. And he said, if you leave, the band's going to fall apart. You know what I mean? Because it's good as it is. You take one element away, and it's which is what happened. So Tony was right. He knew what he was talking about. But I remember playing in Scotland, and it used to happen then with the rest of them. I didn't know what was wrong with it. They rolled me or something. I don't know. But I got an acoustic guitar. I was sitting in the dressing room, and I said I wanted to play him a song. I think it was William Chalker actually. I wanted to play him this song, and I'm playing this song like that. And I looks up, and they've all fucked off in that.
So they weren't really interested then?
No. It's just a trip, playing a trip on you, isn't it? You know what I mean? But I remember then after that, it was before the gig, I went out and bought a bottle of brandy and I drunk a lot, didn't I? And I was on stage playing and I got a big stack, about 4 big stacks of speakers behind me. And I just kept slipping down the speakers onto the floor. And then off he come back, picked me back up, standing against the speakers again, and I'd go down again. That was the worst one, that was. It couldn't have been good then. I was in it for the rest of the band.
So while all this was going on, Carl was smashing up TV, and there were naked women on the stage, were there?
Oh no, that was just at one gig. We did a gig in a roundhouse and we were on with the Who. And Tony's idea was, what I want you to do is do rock and roll. You know, the hippies are all finished with, as far as he was concerned. We're going to bring rock and roll back, you know what I mean? So in the dressing room we rehearsed something else, and whatever was on the albums, It'll Be Me, because only 3 chords. So we rehearsed them in the dressing room. And he told the roadie to get about 3 or 4 tellies, right? I don't think he told us about the strippers. I think that just come out of the blue line. But then there was a pink Cadillac car, which a girl dressed like in a spacesuit got out of it and give Carl this silver axe, and he jumped on the car and started smashing the car up. Strippers come on, and they're doing their bit. The audience didn't fucking notice of anything. All they wanted to do was crack the car themselves. Riot, like a riot, you know, that's rioting. And of course then the Who had got to go on after us. So that was Tony's idea, to create that much mayhem. So how's the Who going to follow that?
That was a lot to follow, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's what he did it for. But he so he come up with some fantastic ideas. I mean, there's no denying. That was another one. He come up with that the H-bomb in the middle of Piccadilly in Manchester. And you see you've probably seen it. You see the photograph, and there's 2 coppers there standing, looking at us. Well, I was only just staring at us, like, you know, what you up to and all this stuff. And then the finish, they did say, well, you've got to move on. You're stopping all the fucking traffic. It's fucking atom bomb. It's a piece of old crap, really, to make it look like a bomb. And he's shouting stuff like, Carl, go on. Put the nut on that copper. Charlie's going, well, shall I do it? Like, you don't know what to do. But Tony was trying to get him arrested. That's what he was trying to get him to do. Anyway, we just moved on, like, you know, in the finish. But that was Tony's, you know, keep that copper and put the nuts on him and all that. Then I've obviously carted him to the police station, and he's been on the front page of the paper the next day.
Well, that was the idea, I suppose.
Yeah, that's why he did it all.
I suppose the band weren't always happy about what the suggestions he came up with.
No, well, the one mentioned earlier on, you know, the Harold Wilson one was the best. What happened was, we've heard it many times, I suppose, but we never knew anything about it at all. And we got to a gig the one night, and we went in, and there's all press photographers outside, and they're taking photos. We go, what the fucking hell's going on there? So Tony said, come on, he said, I want you all in the dressing room, I've got something to tell you. So he said, we're being sued.
Did you laugh then?
Fucking danger. Fucking everybody was white. What do you mean? You know, well, I've done a postcard, you know, and all this stuff, and it works out that he's going to sue us. So I want you to all act tough and all this stuff, and go out and face the press and photographs and all that, which we did. But then we went back to his flat so we could explain it a bit more and all that. And then all the lads were all sleeping at the Sandringham, I think it was, the hotel we were staying. So it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. Tony says, jump in with me, Ace. He says, we're going to go down to Piccadilly because you can get all the tomorrow's papers ahead of time. So Tony got out of the car and he went and got all these papers, and there was a fucking pile of papers like that, man. And he's just about carrying them, and he's falling on the bonnet of the car, killing himself for laughing. I thought, what the fucking hell's all this, man? And he threw the papers into me, And every front page of the paper was us being sued by the Prime Minister. And then we got back, and I fucking pissed off like Charlie was asleep in bed, and I just threw all the fucking papers at him and said, I'm off, man. I'm fucking leaving the country.
Did it frighten you?
Well, it frightened all of us, didn't it, really?
You were still quite young, weren't you?
Yeah, and my granddad says to me, you can't fuck with the government, what you doing? I said, well, it's, the image, I said, fuck the image. He said, he runs the country.
I mean, it did work. Like, you were on the front page of all the papers.
Oh, yeah, it worked.
Do you think the record would have been a bigger hit as it was without that, though?
I don't know.
It was first record played on Radio 1 as well.
I don't know, because we had it records before we did that, so I couldn't sue on. It was a good song.
So you had Night of Fear was the first one. I Can Hear the Grass Grow.
Yeah. The Flowers in the Rain.
Yeah.
So we'd had them hit records anyway.
Yeah.
But they hadn't gone. I think it got to number 2. It didn't get to number 1.
No.
But
they were all top 5.
But they were all in the charts.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. That is. I don't know whether it did make any difference. What it did do, which is what Tony wanted it to do, was try and turn us into the Rolling Stones, like, that we were rebels, and and apart from me living with my missus and having a baby, that's another one we had to keep quiet because I've got our Gary then. And all the others were all living at home with the mums. No fucking rebels at all. Where do you live? I live with my mum.
and you were Ace to Face, who really, you had, did you have all the girls screaming after you more than the others?
Well, we did. We all had it, but I think that was another one that caused us jealousy. I did get a lot more. I mean, I can understand that Carl was the singer, really, and he should have been getting the screams and all that, But to be honest, Tony pushing this Ace to Face, and I was doing photograph sessions on my own, apart from the band. And I got to the marquee one afternoon after I'd been on the session, and I walked in, and nobody was talking to me. I had the Christmas, I think I've got old mistletoe kissing this girl on the tree dressed as fucking Father Christmas. What a brat. So I was doing that, and I walked in, and there's nobody talking to me. And I says to Bev, I said, what's up? Well, the atmosphere stinks, He said, nothing's up. He said, but if this carries on, there will be. Really threatening, like, I said, what are you on about? He said, this is a 5-piece band. He says, boy, are you doing photographs on your own? So what I mean, that's how it starts. And that was it. And then the jealousies just get bigger and bigger with any band through the simple little things like that. And that's it. What was your question? Was that your question?
I can't remember that.
No, welcome to my world.
I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll take a break.
Yeah, good idea.
Get a breather.
Yeah.
We get our heads together.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back. We'll be back after the break, as they say.
Okay.